Today on the Topic Show, Trump signs up for TikTok and immediately goes viral. Fauci quote on isolating people in order to push the vaccine is also going viral. Biden Pride Day tweet is mostly ratioed. Riley Gaines on a WNBA player knocking down Clark. Microsoft to lay off some cloud employees, while Spotify plans to raise prices yet again. A 75-year-old woman is arrested for praying outside an abortion clinic. And Toyota recalls 100,000 Tundras for engine failure. All of that and much, much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I see he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's a joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Microsoft laying off some of the cloud team employees, which is very interesting to say the least. Now, Microsoft perhaps is one of the most best-known companies on the planet, bar none. Basically, if you use any sort of electronic device, the odds are you're either directly using Microsoft with Windows, or there's some stuff used on the back end to support it. And there's about 18 people using Apple products. I kid, in terms of corporate America, Apple is slowly but surely gaining some market share, but Microsoft for Windows is still predominantly an overwhelming majority. And one of the biggest growth and profit areas of Microsoft is the cloud, which one of my favorite stickers I've ever seen in IT is a little sticker saying there's no such thing as a cloud, it's just someone else's computer, which, spoiler alert, that is true. The magical cloud is nothing more than a fancy data center halfway across or sometimes fully across the globe. But nevertheless, one of the most profitable things that Microsoft is selling is the cloud. The offering of customers just spin up servers and throw their data over there and not having to worry about having their own physical hardware in their own house, or more realistically, their own corporate headquarters or data center. And they're slowly but surely catching up. I mean, the big elephant in the room, is, rather the 800-pound gorilla, is Amazon's AWS, or Amazon Web Services, which is the most popular and successful cloud offering since the dawn of the cloud. Now, Microsoft, on contrast, they're actually starting to lay off some employees. Now, this comes just thanks to Reuters, specifically is over here, and they say, quote, Microsoft to lay off hundreds at Azure Cloud Unit, Business Insider reports, which, again, that's one of the most profitable parts of the businesses. Now, that being said, Microsoft is also, I don't want to say as fat as the government, but there are a lot of layers of bureaucracy, and there are many, many Microsoft employees, so they have some fat they could probably trim and still remain profitable. Well, exceedingly profitable, to say the least. And they also changed the name from, what was it? I forget what they're terrible at marketing. They changed their name yet again. It took me years to get people to focus on the name Azure. They named it to something else that so unmemorable I can't even remember it. Now they say that they also impact teams including the Azure for operations and missile engineering, according to the report. The Azure layoff involves as many as 1,500 jobs. It added citing similar or people similar with the situation. Going down more and more, Microsoft spokesperson said, quote, organizational and workforce adjustments are necessary and regular part of managing our business. We will continue to prioritize and invest in strategic growth areas for our future and in support of our customers and partners, unquote, which that is more than, I mean, it's true, but it's also one of the most cliche things that you use in corporate America. I can't help but think there's just like one person in like an HR company somewhere in the world that just types things up, just copy paste it and sells it to these big companies. They all say about the same thing. Now, they say that Microsoft Azure's cloud is witnessing a sharp growth due to the company's heavy investment in AI and access to coveted technologies of ChatGPT and Maker OpenAI through their strategic partnerships. And yet they're still having these layoffs. So it is unfortunate. Now, I mean, the upside is a silver lining of the situation if they are one of the employees that are affected. Thankfully, there are a lot of companies that are hiring, especially when it comes to the cloud infrastructure. I mean, obviously, the 800-pound gorilla is going to be Amazon Web Services. But you also have Oracle Cloud, and then you have Google Cloud, or they have some fancy acronym for it, of course. So hopefully all the people who are laid off are not, too far without employment. They'll be find some gainful employment shortly in the future. And it's also the point where, yeah, I think the cloud is going to continue to grow more and more in terms of IT in the future. And again, hopefully they're not too affected. And let me know. Odds are you probably have direct or indirect experiences using Microsoft Cloud and their team, but let me know in the comments, do you think this will be kind of a ripple effect? Will other cloud companies start to trim some of the fat as well. Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Spotify to raise prices yet again. And it's a good friendly reminder to click that subscribe button on the Spotify and give it a 5-star review or 4-star review and just give me some feedback. Let me know how I can do better. Or 3 stars, or 2 stars, or 1. Right? I forget if it's Apple or Spotify. Someone did give me a 1-star review without any details, which, I mean, at least tell me what I can do better, but I partially digress. This is brought to us thanks to Andy Bink over at Fox 16, which they specifically say, quote, Spotify raising premium plan fees, how much and when it will impact you. It's one of those fun websites, the more pop-ups than you possibly count. Now, in terms of getting to the super nuts of the situation, they note that current customers will see their subscriptions fee increase in July. They'll also notify those being affected in the coming weeks, or just tune into the show, or share it with your friends. They note that Spotify's premium plan will now cost $11.99 a month, increased from $10.99 for an individual plan. Premium Duo will increase to $16.99 per month, up from $14.99, while Premium Family is rising to $19.99, up from $16.99. The plan for students will remain $5.99, which, again, I'm not sure if you just take a screenshot and show them, but I'm surprised they don't have an option for like college graduates with debt, because that's most of them, because most college degrees are woefully inept and a terrible return on investment and usually don't get you great jobs. But nevertheless, yeah, all these companies are being squeezed, and Spotify doesn't make a lot of money, relatively speaking. They're one of those things where if you actually look at the finances of these companies, which is, I mean, all these streaming platforms, they're struggling because they don't own the music rights. So every time you pay them for the subscription, most of it goes directly, or rather more accurately, it goes indirectly to places like Sony and Warner Brothers, where they actually own the rights to most of the music that you and I know and love. Forget it, at least Sony paid $750 million for half of Michael Jackson's catalog Q4 last year. So it's one of those instances where Spotify's not making all this, enormous profit to help grow and invest the company, and yet they're kind of they are also spending a lot of money to get these exclusivity contracts with personalities, or more accurately, podcasters like Joe Rogan, which perhaps that's probably the only profitable thing they've done in the past couple of years. I can't help but think, how many people tuned into the Obama podcast that they paid so much for? Maybe 18 people? Well, maybe 23, let's be optimistic. But it's going to be a tough year for streaming companies, because again, most of that companies going back to the publishers, or the actual people who own the rights to it. And I can't help but think, it's going to be a precarious year. And again, they also had the free offering, which, in my 3 cents, I think that's the best ROI, because you just have a pop-up ad. That's what I use back when what was it? Yeah, when Joe Rogan got that exclusivity contract with Spotify, that was the one reason I signed up for Spotify. That's what I use personally. And as far as I know, in terms of the commercials, there's the pop-up ad. Then every once in a while we have one that's actually played throughout the show, but it's not one of those things where it's not unpalatable. So for me, I don't see much value personally getting the premium solution or the premium package of Spotify. But let me know, if you're already paying for Spotify, would you be willing to pay a couple more bucks more to keep it going? Is this kind of your tipping point? Because again, a couple of these are going up to about $20, because again, you have to pay the good old taxes on it. I mean, in terms of marketing, is good. They always have it end to 99 cents, but people psychologically think it's lower when really it's not. But let me know, do you actually pay for any streaming services in terms of music and podcast? And what's the price point per month where you just say, not worth it, I'll just use the same version, or go to an alternative source of actually listening to it? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the Cultural Poly Podcast, you have a 95-year-old woman jailed for praying outside an abortion clinic, which, yeah, it is 2024 in the United States, so I'm not too surprised, unfortunately. And this is actually first brought to us thanks to Joel Berry over at X Twitter. Now, Joel says, quote, a D.C. judge, no surprise, just sentenced, excuse me, 79-year-old Paulette Harlow, who is in poor health, to 2 years in prison for praying outside an abortion clinic. Her husband fears she might die there, which, yeah, it looks like a happy grandma. So I don't know if she's in a wheelchair in the picture, but she's sitting down outside a courthouse with presumably her husband. And I got 3.3 million views and 14,000 likes. The husband is OG because he does have a tie and a pocket. I think he actually does have a pocket protector with pens, which means he's either in sales or an old soul. Well, he's also elderly, but always be prepared. I mean, back in the day, you'd write purchase orders and contracts, but I mean, mostly DocuSign now. But nevertheless, always helpful to have a pen on you at all times. Well, many other things as well. Now, scrolling down here, we'll actually see the video of it. Now, Joel Berry also says, quote, the sentencing was passed by Judge Collar Contley after Harlow's husband begged for mercy, expressing his fear his wife would die alone in prison. The judge taunted that maybe Harlow would, quote, make an effort to remain alive because that is a tenet of Harlow's religion. Wow. And the judge is, as wise as she is beautiful, it's almost as if Dianne Feinstein came back, got a really bad haircut, and her face was exploded a little bit. Then she has some earring. The judge has some earrings that only a kindergartner would make in terms of the design of it, and presumably manufactured, depending on where this actually earrings came from. But yet, needless to say, in this instance, the age-old saying is accurate when it is, she is as wise as she is beautiful. Now that got 6.4 thousand likes. Scrolling down, you have Joel Berry also having a video of it. It says, here's a video of the protest this poor woman is going to prison for. And so it looks like they're in the lobby outside the actual facility.
In particular, Lord, we beg you for the babies about to be aborted. Please inspire these parents to keep their babies. And for those who are brutally aborted, we beg you to have mercy on them and bring them straight to heaven. The snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. Do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, crush into hell Satan and all the evil spirits.
It says the Metropolitan Police, because you got police coming in.
Amen. Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee we cry.
Now starting to rescue. You'll get this.
So just now we let a guy go through the door. His partner is in there going in for an abortion today. We made a deal with him that he would give her pro-life literature and talk to her, and that's why we
Should please share this video. Get this.
Talk to her, and that's why we allowed him to go behind the door.
Okay.
There are girls in the back right now because of the violent response of the abortion.
Looks like they're partially blocking the door, if I was seeing that right. What is that sign? There's a sign on the door that says, oh, it says no cell phones. I'm not sure if this is an operational door. If you look at the lobby, it appears you can still get through. I believe, because I think right around that corner, the actual reception area, then that's where you go. If you're just tuning in, that's where they go around. That video got 4.3 thousand likes from Colin Rugg. And Joel also says the aggressive prosecution of these pro-life activists was a response to their protesting Washington surgery clinic abortionist Cesar Santiago, butchering that probably, apologies, who murdered full-term visible infants and admitted to leaving living babies to die, which many people would say that should be illegal. Well, horrifying thing, some people don't think that's illegal. That's quite dark to say the least. Scrolling down more and more. Chase says, unbelievable, getting 194 likes. Paul Zupa saying DC is an absolute disgrace. Leave that city, getting 60 likes. LiveNews.com says Joe Biden puts elderly woman in prison for 25 months for protesting abortion, getting 131 likes. Which, going down more and more. Clay says this is not right, even though it does appear that the woman was inside the clinic. The fact that an elderly woman is being jailed for 2 years for protesting abortion, especially when there are so many violent crimes not being punished, is a travesty, unquote. Getting 585 likes, which, yeah, it does show our government's priorities in terms of you have people quite literally destroying buildings, destroying property, spray painting murals of World War II veterans, World War I veterans. You have people putting foreign flags all over the United States. They don't get in trouble at all. Hardly at all. And yet, yeah, this person's going to jail. Now, they were being a little loud and bombastic. I think that's partially because the police were there. And again, I understand peaceful protest in terms of there's a debate on, what's the most effective methodology. Personally, in this situation, now granted, it's easy for me to just sit here and give my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation. But I'm partial, and again, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I think I'd be more of a fan of a silent prayer instance, or maybe saying the rosary or something to the effect where, and again, we're just seeing this video. They started shooting the video when the police showed up, so again, maybe that's why they're raising their voices. But in terms of winning hearts and minds and, kind of bringing people into your realm and having a conversation with them, I think it's much more effective methodology to just, calmly, maybe silently pray and just say, again, it's one of the most, it is very hard to, get people to the point where they're willing to have a conversation about these types of topics and very controversial topics. But I think it can be done. It's obviously, the big challenge, but let me know what you think the most effective methodology is to win over hearts and minds, whatever side of the political spectrum or cultural spectrum you might be for this particular topic. I don't think anyone should be jailed for this. Now, you have, scrolling down more and more. This one got a couple likes. Warren says, quote, during the blockade, one patient tried to climb through a receptionist's window to access the clinic, while another laid inside the hall outside the clinic in physical distress, unable to gain access. They say it's a quote, but they don't say who it's from. Was that the girl speaking? Let's see. Oh shoot, did I lose it? I got 44 responses and 538 likes. Oh geez Louise. I'm gonna say it's loading like an old 1991 dial-up computer. The OGs will remember back in the day, if you want to go on the internet, you had to basically kill a computer, so it sounded like, to actually access it. Let's see here. Now, let's see here. Warren also says prior to the clinic incursion, the defendants met at the other co-conspirators who planned their crime, which included making a fake patient appointment to ensure the group's entry to the clinic, using chains and locks to barricade the facility, and passively resisting. Got 102 likes, so some contrarian statements. Now, Quimberly responded saying lies, no matter how over-dramatized the situation, none of it justifies an old lady going to prison for sitting in a chair and praying. So GFY. GFI. Look up the Urban Dictionary later. Nevertheless, see here. Robin says, oh, he's lying by omission. I wonder why he gave her 2 years. Makes sense now. 8 likes. See here. Diane says, I bet when you have BLM protesters or Palestine protesters who block the street, they don't get any time, and you never know someone who could be their car hit emergency and can't get somewhere, getting 10 likes. Let's see. Jason Hike says, now do road blockades, sit down, getting 27 likes. A couple contrarian statements. Scrolling down more and more. Wall Street Silver says, but we let killers out in our streets. We let illegal migrants on the streets. Wow, getting 257 likes. Bowtie Christmas. A little early, but nevertheless, says, I'm sure Republicans in Congress will send a strongly worded letter. They'll send a strongly worded fundraising letter, unquote, getting 538 likes, which Republicans are very apt at raising money. Not sure about the results. Again, I can go on a whole tangent about all the things I was hoping they'd do when they had the power and when they said they do things, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment, but I will digress for now. See here. So it looks like more and more comments are saying that they blocked it. I can look in the video. In which that case, I think, again, I'm not a judge, although given the judges we see these days, pretty much anyone with a molecular intelligence would be doing a better job than many of them. But yeah, I'd say maybe slap a fine, like a quote unquote reasonable fine on them. Again, I don't know where that door goes. One door is being blocked by someone in the chair. I don't think it warrants jail time, especially when you look at what the DC police don't enforce. So, I don't know, maybe a small monetary fine, maybe community service, but jail? For grandma? Really? I mean, this is a good instance where, again, ideally we'd have what do you call it? Well, obviously, in the perfect world, we have a landscape or an overview of the actual, I was about to say schematics, that's electronics, the actual layout of the building, so you can see if it's the main access door they're blocking or if that's just a janitorial closet. Police did come in and say there's one person that can't block one chair or exit. Looks like the main one isn't, but yeah, let me know in the comments, do you think this was an appropriate punishment for the crime? Do you think it's really, do you think jail time for grandma is really the answer? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Riley Gaines on a WNBA player knocking down the famous Caitlin Clark. or I forget her first name. Nevertheless, this is the most famous sports balls player for the WNBA in years. Prior to Clark, the only famous person people knew from the WNBA was the unpatriotic pothead. What was that name? The Brittany Griner? Looks like a dude. The pothead who went to Russia, which does not, as youth might say, they're not down with the drugs, got arrested, and then we traded the Lord of War for someone who doesn't stand for the American anthem and someone who hates America. Again, that person is Griner. And we trade. If you ever watched the film Lord of War starring Nicolas Cage, based off a phenomenal book and a real life person who was a successful arms dealer international, and we traded a WNBA player for the Lord of War. We had him in custody. We set him out. That's pretty much the only famous person we knew about WNBA. Now we have Clark, who is so famous they might make a profit this year. I'm not saying the odds are high. It's probably 1.08275,973. But nevertheless, that's not zero, and that's infinitely more than what it was prior to Clark joining the WNBA. So maybe they'll make their first profit ever this year. Maybe. Probably not, but there is renewed interest. Now, needless to say, Mrs. Clark's reception by the WNBA and other players is not very warm, with many of them having openly racist comments to her, and now physically knocking her over. Now, this comes with thanks to another famous female athlete who stood up for women's rights, known as Riley Gaines, which she doesn't have her own like a casein protein drink or protein whey powder. Like, her name is Gaines. How do you not capitalize with a supplement? I partially digress. But Riley Gaines says, quote, her, quote, 1 white privilege, 2 straight privilege, 3 pretty privilege, and 4 tall privilege didn't help her here, huh, Sonny? This was also reposted by Barstool Sports. It looks like at Barstool Sports got 23.1 million views. And it's only about 14 seconds long, and I apologize.
And Clark.
I apologize because it's a clip from WNBA game, so it might feel like an eternity in punishment. I know it's not going to be fun, but we'll suffer through this together. This will actually be the first clip I've ever seen of the WNBA game, and probably ever. So yeah, you're starting off with a big old gal, and she's gonna bump into Clark.
And Clark.
So bam, just out of nowhere. So Clark is just standing there. The ball's not around him, and granted, I'm not a sports ball aficionado, but I know that in order to have contact, you're supposed to have something to do with the ball, and ideally it goes into the basket. I don't know if they lowered a couple feet for the WNBA so they can dunk. I'm not sure about the nuances of that.
And Clark.
And just bam, bumps into Clark so hard, Clark falls down.
I mean, that's clear, which was called.
Ooh, there's a good picture of the... Wow. I don't want to say she's on testosterone supplements, but the gal who hit Caitlin, or Clark, looks like a big gal. Let's see here. Let's see, we'll play the rest of it.
The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
Oh, damn it. Are they trying to make us learn another name for the WNBA? I'm not going to learn it. Hopefully not. Yeah, literally just out of the blue. So it looks like someone on the other side of the field, the green. Kidding, I know they play on wood. But yeah, just bam. And I was just, at least, this might be the most effective sponsorship AT&T's done in probably 5 years, because they have the logo on both of their jerseys. And she falls. And whoa. They got a testosterone monster over there.
Clear, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy.
I want to say the other one, if you're just listening, you should feel blessed because, yeah, the gal who hit Clark, she is, let's just say she's not going to win any beauty pageant contests. At least for the people who have eyeballs. Yeah. Just complete lack of class. I mean, there are some sports where you get accolades for actually, bumping into each other. Like, that's half the reason people tune in to watch hockey. Let's be honest. For basketball, I mean, it's known for what? Running around and doing slam dunks. I'm trying to think what else basketball's known for. Yeah, that's pretty good. And just knocked it right down. And it went viral. Again, it's got 24.1 million views. With some of the top comments coming from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, imagine if races were reversed. This is an abhorrent, no matter what the race. Ban the assailant from the WNBA and have her prosecuted, unquote, getting 1.9 thousand likes, which not going to prosecute here for, well, first of all, it's a WNBA game. I mean, so you'd almost think this, what's a nice way of saying, cruel, mentally vacuous individual who knocked over Clark, unsportsmanlike, an ass. I mean, thanks to this interaction, we're talking about the WNBA, which is a rare thing to make. To make that, I struggle to even call it a sport. To make it even moderately interesting is a tough challenge. I mean, it is tough. So at least it's moderately interesting, this thing. Granted, it's not interesting for the right reasons. It's just, I'm not going to watch a game because of this. It just, if anything, decreases my perception of the value and the morality in sports, let's be honest. That's a topic for another time based on who they employ. But yeah, in terms of this, yeah, she's not going to get prosecuted. I mean, the ref maybe should have given her a penalty or a fee or something. The Texas one also says Caitlin should leave the league, let them go back to having 500 fans a game, getting 3.3 thousand likes, which, okay, let's be honest, they probably have like 300 fans per game. Again, all the girls on the court, they have family members. Now, that's a true testament to family loyalty. If you have a family member who's in the WNBA, would you go to their game? Like, oh, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like, you'd have to really, that's a true test. You'd have to really love that family member to go to that game. Even worse, what if you didn't have, that'd be the most cruel thing in the world. Like, if you're doing the IT for a large public venue or for a stadium that hosts a WNBA game, the cruelest thing you could ever do would be to throttle the internet to the point where everything just loads like a 1991 dial-up computer. So they couldn't really use apps or the internet. So they'd be forced to actually watch the game every second. Oh my gosh, that might be in one of the newest. That might be in the updated version of Dante's Inferno. Now you have Seth Dillon, who's the he's the co-founder or founder of the Babylon Bee. He said messed up, getting 743 likes. Gerald TM says, imagine hating a person that could possibly save your profession, getting 6.5 thousand likes, which, I mean, they're not going to, the WNBA will never go away because they're sugar daddy, the NBA, which has been subsidizing them for, well, ever since it started. That WNBA loses money every single year, which is hilarious because, I mean, women always say, oh yeah, it's because men hate it. Well, about half of the U.S. is women. So if every woman tuned into WNBA and paid for the merchandise, paid for the tickets, I mean, they'd be a multi-billion-dollar enterprise like the NBA, as opposed to a rudimentary $200 million a year company that loses money. Now, Rob Bizzle says history has gone full circle. Caitlin Clark, the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA, getting 4.3 thousand likes. Amy McDonald says if the tables were turned, Caitlin would be arrested for a hate crime, getting 380 likes. Let's see here. DSC Crypto says Caitlin Clark for the win. And Caitlin Clark said, quote, I wasn't expecting that, but it's just like respond, calm down, and let your play do the talking. That's it. It is what it is. Like, quote. Getting 388 likes, which that is class. The other girl is ass, and not in a good way, obviously. You'd especially know that if you tuned in or watched the show visually. Let's see here. Rose says the girl in the blue, the girl in the blue should be permanently suspended and never allowed to play again, getting 156 likes. Now, it is funny because no one knows anyone in the WNBA prior to Clark. Like, she's the only one people know. And again, she's a phenomenal player. She throws the ball into the hoop many times, like, precisely. And yet, yeah, I think that'd be the nicest thing you could do to support Caitlin. Another nice thing to do is just be passive aggressive. Be like, actually, I might do that myself. Just refuse to learn that other girl's name. The girl in blue is a good way to describe her. Although, she might be a man. I don't know. Now, Jay Perry says Caitlin brought the inner city home, fixed it up, dumped millions into it. Then the ghetto showed up to destroy it, getting 775 likes. Iron Sharpens Iron Trading says Caitlin Clark is one of the most hated person in basketball history. Can't believe the WNBA allows their best player in history to be treated like this. She's the only reason people are watching. And getting 2.8 thousand likes, which, yeah, she is. Nobody gave a damn about WNBA before that. And even now they're not profitable. Will they because of Caitlin Clark? I don't know. There's a small chance it could happen, but yeah, they should probably do more to, protect the one person that's making anyone give a modicum of interest to your futile sport. DNO says they had better find her, and it needs to be a significant amount for this player to feel it in her paycheck. so like $35, unquote, getting 2.6 thousand likes. Hattie Melt says the WNBA will fine her $20, getting 684 likes. See here. Thomas Anderson says when the NBA players don't play like this, you become upset. You label them as soft and recall Dennis Rodman's iconic clothesline. A contrarian statement? Way. Is this person a WNBA player? Apparently not. Let's see here. Do one or two more. Are there any other contrarian statements? Liberty or Liberaki says the WNBA, we won't stand for this behavior. Also the WNBA, huh? I didn't think it was possible to actually cry yourself all the way to the bank, but here we are. 41 likes for that one. Hacking Proton says, why do I think this is a man with ponytail? Getting 42 likes. Well, probably on a fair amount of testosterone supplements. A lot of people are calling for a suspension. That's not going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see, for this type of drama, keep the interest in the WNBA high. Do you think people will actually become more inspired to actually pay for a ticket? Will people actually buy a jersey for a WNBA player? I've never seen one in the real world. I assume they exist. They have to sell jerseys. Probably. Have you ever seen one? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Trump signing up for TikTok and immediately going viral, getting about 1 million followers in 10 hours, which is fanatically great to say the least. This is first brought to us thanks to Colin Rugg over at X Twitter, saying, quote, Donald Trump amassed over 1.1 million followers on TikTok in just 10 hours after he announced at UFC 302 that he was joining the app. For comparison, the Biden campaign has been on the app for months and only has 355,000 followers. Trump's first post received a whopping 23 million views and 1.2 million likes in a 10-hour period he joined. For comparison, the Biden HQ has been tirelessly uploading 212 videos but only amassing 4.5 thousand likes. Which, yeah, they're going for the quantity over quality. Which, I mean, they kind of have to if it's... Let's see if we actually...
The president is now on TikTok. It's my honor.
There we go. Little kid, I think there's a Kid Rock in the background there.
The president.
There we go. They got 3.3 million views and 32,000 likes. Dino says now it's called Trump Talk. Check out the epic comments here. Got 1.6 thousand likes. Colin Rugg says Americans love convicted felons, getting 1,000 likes. One bad dude says I don't see how anyone can look around them at this point and actually believe Joe Biden will beat Donald Trump in 20 or beat it. No, that's grammar side. Beat Donald Trump in 2020. It defies logic, getting 4.2 thousand likes. Colin Rugg says Biden is clearly the more popular than any other president in history, getting 1.1 thousand likes, which Biden did get more votes than anyone in history. I think it's just because he's so charismatic and great at the economy. Now you have Paul Zupa saying President Trump is the master of all media. He won in 2016 by leveraging Twitter, and he'll win in November by re-leveraging everything. The Democrats have unspoken the beast. I'm going to guess that's a typo. Awaken the beast, and his war will just begun, getting 250 likes. Let's see here. Got 550 likes. This is from Liberty Media TM. It's Biden pointing. It says, "You got the most votes in U.S. history. You don't need to arrest your political opponents, but if you stole the election, you pretty much have to." Unquote, getting 550 likes. Let's see here. Sassafras 84 says, only the shills online believe Biden has more support than Trump. Trump won 2016, 2020, and will win again in 2024. Trump is going to break the internet when that town hall comes up on X. And it's a picture of Biden and Kamala, and it says fair elections would end the Democrat Party, getting 623 likes. Which it is, I can't believe there are people, well, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but it is fascinating how many people in DC and how many elected politicians do not want voter ID. Let me know in the comments, have you ever heard of one legitimate reason not to have that? I partially digress. Joe Walker says the Biden campaign cannot be having more fun right now. Everywhere Trump is going for support for him, this is astounding. I'll wait for him to come back on X, then it'll explode then, getting 321 likes. Birch says he's a smart man, a step ahead of the game. He will reach the new generation, winning, getting 180 likes. Here. Hello, I'm Kello says, why is Trump using TikTok but not X? Questioning emoji face, getting 255 likes, which, I mean, what I've heard is that it's a contractual obligation for Truth Social. So Trump apparently can post on X, but he has to first post on Truth Social. And again, he's trying to build out that company that he partially owns, of course. And I mean, there is also someone already on X who retweets for Trump. Again, I'm not sure if there's a direct correlation if they're working with the Trump campaign, but I forget the actual handle, but I really think it is just Trump retweets from True Social, something like that. I have JCast saying, wow, just these numbers alone are proof that Joe did not get 81 million legitimate votes in 2020. That got 160 likes. Jerry says 81 million? BS. All eyes and lawyers are on deck in November. They got 416 likes. Gunther Eagleman says Trump is a goat. Everyone knows it, getting 939 likes. Let's see. I don't see any not too many contrarian statements here. Oh, he's up to 2 million now. I got 23 likes for that little screenshot. Let's see here. Mark Ruda also says, updated my slogan. It goes from I hate New York to I love New York to I hate New York. Make America great again. Which, to me, New York was always overrated considering how much of crime and how bad it is for business. And yeah, they got 67 likes though. Going down more and more. What the heck? That guy 6410 says, is this why Joe 737 nuked TikTok? Got 17 likes. I mean, there are a lot of people who wanted that company divested. I mean, it's still going to be around. Trump needs to American AF says Trump needs to return to X2, getting 88 likes. And it's going to be an effective way to reach those younger audience where TikTok is growing more and more, which, if it wasn't for the massive security issues, I'd be on there already. It's basically glorified spyware for China. And yeah, the terms and conditions are quite concerning, which is why I'm not personally on TikTok at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if those policies actually change once it is divested with an American entity, or if the TikTok just says, you know what, we're going to pick our bags and go home. We're not going to allow divestment. But let me know, do you think TikTok will be an important mechanism in terms of the outcome for the 2024 election? Do your friends already enjoy the app and already on it and using it? As always, let me know in the comments. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Fauci, quote, I'm making life difficult to make vaccines easier to force, going viral to say the least. The list comes to thanks to one of the few politicians I actually respect and think is pretty good at his job. This comes from Rand Paul. And he says, quote, during the hearing, Representative Rick McCormick, Republican from Georgia, played an audio recording of Fauci saying, quote, it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people to live their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated, unquote. And Rand Paul continues saying, sounds like words you expect in China rather than the USA, unquote. It got 2.1 million views, and rather 65,000 likes, which, yeah, sounds like it's something on the Marxist or Communist handbook. I mean, yeah, make people's lives difficult. It was also found out, oh yeah, the whole 6-foot rule, Fauci just pulled it out of his ass. One of the most duplicitous, evil people in history, morally and mentally vacuous. And oh yeah, he got kickbacks apparently for all the vaccines. Interesting. So the first comments comes from, let's see, libertarian thinker saying, quote, if you grant your government more power during a crisis, it will create cries to gain more authorities. I got 15 likes. Uncommon Sense says Fauci created the virus, he helped sell the solution, then they used the media to hype it all up. Got 1.3 thousand likes. Then Dexia American Truther say Fauci should be in prison for crimes against humanity, getting 2.4 thousand likes. Ian Jager says you're right all along, Senator, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Let's see, here's the actual audio recording apparently.
Officials don't like to use their lives so they'd feel pressured to get vaccinated. Could we run the audio clip on that, please?
You think can be done about it? I have to say that I don't see a big solution other than some sort of mandatory vaccination. I know federal officials don't like to use that term.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
Thank you. Are all objections?
One of the most evil men in history. I got 5.6 thousand likes. Hey says Fauci should be in prison, period, getting 2.8 thousand likes, which, yeah, I doubt it. Because again, Republicans have got to do something. And do it well. Yeah, the odds are not 0, but 0.0000367%, probably, approximately. The FCJ says he's just sick, evil man who deserves to rot in prison, getting 1.5 thousand likes. Scrolling down more and more. See if there's anyone sticking up for him. Let's see. Well, it's got 605 likes. Gracie Smith says no questions about Joe's COVID plan or his and Dr. Fauci's new policies in 2021 that caused deaths to double and injuries to quadruple after forcing 90 million young and healthy Americans to get vaccinated due to Biden's mandate policy. Got 609 likes. Let's see. Going down more and more. Let's see. Dorothy Bootle says, I think the destruction of these non-scientific mandates caused the country and the world just think of the suffering the scientists who disgraced with the government narrative may have their licenses to practice medicine threatened. Sounds familiar. Now we have lawyers getting 939 likes. Let's see. B. Wright says, great story, Rand. What's going to be done other than posting it on X? Getting 160 likes, which, yeah, question. Michael Gooseby says, ideological BS, as in sovereignty over one's body and other essential rights, delineated in the Bill of Rights, getting 337 likes. Let's see. El Cheeky says, I'm voting for the convicted felon, getting 490 likes, referencing Trump. See here. Joe Dodona says, when can we expect actual criminal charges, getting 289 likes. Jason Corsi says, cool story. Will anything happen to Fauci? Nope. Cool post though, Rand. Getting 821 likes. Which, yeah. Yeah. Again, what are the odds? But again, all those companies are shielded, so more and more side effects are being discussed in terms of the vaccines, in terms of actually increasing the death rates, as well as having permanent effects on the body, destroying many young folks. And yet, all these companies are shielded from liability because they all have that get out of jail free liability sheet. So they made billions upon billions with on taxpayers' dollars because we also funded it. But I don't think legally there will ever be any ramifications. When it comes to most of those companies, it's not like you're going out and shopping for your specific drug, you're not looking for the specific manufacturer when you're getting your pharmaceuticals. So it's not like their sales are going to decline from this, I wouldn't think. But let me know in the comments, do you think Fauci will actually successfully be prosecuted? Do you think he'll face any ramification? Or, maybe he'll even feel a drop of guilt? I mean, I don't think so, but let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Biden's Pride Day tweet is mostly ratioed. Now, could use a little asterisk because, yes, it's coming from the Biden campaigns, or rather, it's coming from Biden's Twitter, but we all know that's really just Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, who has been caught multiple times posting for Biden. So, do we really think he's really coming up with these words and sending them out and posting them? Probably not, but it did come from his account. Now, again, it's from the X-Twitter account. It said, Biden allegedly says, quote, Pride is a celebration of generations of LGBTQIA+ people who have fought bravely to live openly and authentically. Happy Pride Day, everyone. And he's about, he looks like I don't want to say he looks like a creepy Frankenstein, but he's about to hug some individual who looks very happy. And of course, you have the pride flags all around him. Yeah, not an American flag in sight, you shouldn't be surprised. And that got 3.2 million views, went pretty viral. And it got some likes. It got 36,000 likes. So, I think it's not the worst ratio of all time in terms of the like ratio. But the comments, well, spoiler alert, they're not great. One of the first ones comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, "Pride is yet another divisive month promoted by the establishment because they know divided we are easier to control. America, our states united, we will not be torn apart by Joe Biden and his tribalism. We are one people under God. We have one American flag. We have one American flag emoji. Got 942 likes. Although you have many states that are actually changing their flags to, like, Minnesota flag is now basically the flag of Somalia. So, and you have more and more states having pride flags as opposed to the American flag. So, I mean, how much? I mean, I think the U.S. flag should unite us all, but does it really? What morals and values do all these states have at the end of the day? How many are really shared? Now, Sassafras says, "This is my pride flag, the one who fought for our country and died for our freedoms. Happy Pride Month." And it's U.S. soldiers holding the American flag, getting 2.5 thousand likes. Bad Hombre says, "Which one of those letters is for our fathers?" What the heck? Oh, I was going to say, cover your ears if you have youth listening. Says Bad Hombre says, quote, "Which one of those letters is for the fathers that screw their daughters in the shower?" Unquote, getting 1.9 thousand likes, and is a direct jab at Biden for, his daughter, the daughter's diary being confirmed, and her saying that they had inappropriate showers together. Hodge Twins says pride is narcissistic and gay, getting 3.8 thousand likes. Planet of Memes, they have a picture, but it's not really a meme, but nevertheless, they say, "This is the only flag to be proud of, this American flag," getting 1.3 thousand likes. Gizmo says mental illness, and you have some chimps, and one says 25% of Democrats are being treated for mental illness, and the other chimp says, "So 75% are going around untreated," unquote, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Oh, here's a clip of Biden, which I was going to say, this is from 2008, where they ask him his stance on gay marriage, which, Obama as well as Biden were not down with that, especially in the beginning. Let's see here. This is 2000, and this person before the quote says, Steve Ghost says, "This was you in 2008. Do you remember saying this?" Which, probably not. That's only about 13 seconds long. Got Biden speaking at a podium. He did suit up for this interview, or this debate in 08, or what was it, 08?
Let's try to avoid nuance, Senator. Do you support gay marriage?
No. Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support.
Let's try.
Wow. Now, not only does he have an American flag as a lapel pin, which is very rare in DC these days, honestly, you don't see that too much. This video is so old. I mean, not only is that a different policy than he has now, but just listen to how articulate he is.
Marriage?
No. Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage.
Where's that stuttering they said he had his whole life? He sounds great there. Articulate.
Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage.
Okay, not perfect, but
from
a lot better than today. I got 3.8 thousand likes. Jack says, "Did you take a pride shower with your daughter?" Getting 1.8 thousand likes. Let's see. MAGA says, "This is the real Joe." This is 37 seconds from 2006, apparently.
I can't believe the American people.
Oh, really? Oh. Did it? Oh. A back button issue. Oh, a little disappointing to say the least. Yeah, overwhelming. Let's see here. Get that. Pull that back up here. Never be too disappointed or upset with technology issues, because if technology didn't have issues, that'd be half my tech company gone. So now I got back up on screen properly. Let's see if we can play that clip.
And see through this. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Do you support gay marriage?
No.
Yeah, his policies have certainly changed. I got 884 likes. Going down more and more. Democrat Media TM says, "This is my real pride flag." That's a picture of the United States flag. Hi, I'm Kelly Joe says, "America needs God, especially in the White House," getting 975 likes. James Jeanette says, no, these are the only men who fought bravely. It's the iconic image of the United States Marines raising the flag at Iwo Jima. 296 likes. Let's see. Finally, we had to scroll for quite some time, but we did find someone who agrees with Joe Biden. Art Candy, who spells her name wrong, which, granted, she might be... Odds are she's very low intellect, but yeah, Art, her name is spelled Candee. And she has a picture of popcorn, an emoji picture of popcorn. What's that? A glass of water with a straw? Which, spoiler alert, those are both not candy. So, and she describes herself as space host trying to find common ground, dubbed as liberal pundit by alternate smat talker. Country is doomed if we don't communicate. Well, so at least I do agree with that communication part, so I'll follow her to get some contrarian statements. Now she says, quote, Happy Pride Day to all those who celebrate. Original gay pride flag. There's a lot of them. She did the OG flag. They got 297 likes. I wonder if she was ratioed because she did get 103 comments. First comment comes from Shark Turd saying, Happy Straight Pride to all my fellow straight people. When do we get a straight white Pride Month? Getting 34 likes. See, scrolling down more and more. Someone says, heterosexual pride. Can I get a hell yeah? Getting 128 likes. Let's see. Doug Osborne says, just what Americans care about right now. A bunch of clowns desperate for attention. Frolicking around for a month. LMFAO, which that's a word you don't hear a lot. Frolicking? They have appropriate use for it. And you have a picture of, yeah, you have someone in drag having a microphone. What is it? Placed in a sexual part with a child talking to it. You have, I don't know, you have a child kissing a man on the lips as the whole crowd praises them. I don't know if these two are both the child's dad. The child is also wearing Crocs. There's a lot of bad things happening in this picture. And they have you have pride flags. You have Satan, at least in a suit, though it is a rainbow suit, in a classroom reading to children. Then you have some type of demon over DC. It says, we're way past the swamp. Now that got 209 likes. Kelly says, your so-called Pride Month is nothing but divisive and abhorrent, getting 386 likes. Kelly Crypto says, I hate you, getting 438 likes. Gerald TM says, there's no such thing as Pride Month, get over it, getting 648 likes. Philip Anderson says, you're an effing dictator, stop pushing mental illness on kids and forcing men into women's sports and bath, getting 581 likes. Old School Eddie says, without straight people, there'd be no generations, let's celebrate them, getting 716 likes. This might be the best response that I've seen. Gandhi Parody account says, parents march with their children at Family Pride in Serbia. This is what we need more of, especially when you consider there's a drastically dropping birth rate globally. These have, there you go. Normal people walking their kids. It's fascinating how American society has demonized and just made having kids like an evil, bad thing. When really it's one of those precious things and privileges you could possibly have in your life. They got 477 likes. Luther says, but God hates us, and says only Jesus can save you, getting 293 likes. Let's see. Common Sense Custodian says, when is heterosexual month? Literally being dead serious, I'm just curious, getting 388 likes. Let's see. American AF says the LGBTQIA plus community is running out of letters to add, getting 49 likes, which, yeah, makes it, again, whoever is the manufacturer of flags these days is making a killing. There's so many designs, and the profit margins have to be really good. They're all mostly made in China. I can't help but think that is an exceedingly profitable thing. Perhaps that's a conspiracy. This is all just from that flag manufacturer. I partially jest. But, yeah. This is one of the most culturally and politically hot topics for decades now. And again, politically speaking, is very much a pro-Democrat, I would say, in terms of political ideologies and what they support. And can't help but wonder, is this going to be something that helps push Biden over the top to win the 2024 election? I mean, most Fortune 500 companies are all behind this. There's a lot, again, there are, I was about to say hundreds of millions of people. Yeah, globally perhaps, that do believe in these month-long Pride events, but in terms of Biden, is a good move on the political chessboard. He is appealing to his base. He's appealing to a lot of people who do believe in this, and truth be told, they're probably participating in many of these parades throughout the U.S. Is that enough to really push him over the hump political pump. I was going to say probably not the best use of vernacular there, but will this help him politically? Is he just pandering to the usual base? Is he gaining more votes this time than last time because of these types of posts? I can't but think probably not. If anything, I think the cultural and political pendulum is kind of swinging a little bit back to the more conservative or traditional stances. But let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Toyota recalling the Tundra because their V6 keeps breaking. Their iconic truck is in a rut or just breaking down next to a Ford, something like that. But nevertheless, this was brought to us thanks to Jalopnik and is specifically from the writer by the name of Lawrence Hodge. And they say, quote, Toyota finally figured out why its twin-turbo V6 have been failing. They are recalling 100,000 of the V6s, which are found in both the Toyota Tundra as well as the Lexus LX. Which, again, this is almost like a couple nails in the coffin, so to say. Because again, Toyota is known for one thing and one thing above all else, which I would argue is reliability, which it still mostly has, but seems to be having more and more issues. Now, the article says, quote, the latest generation of the Toyota Tundra and the Lexus LF improved over the previous model in a big way. Toyota's ancient... Oh, stop. I got so many things wrong with this article. Jalopnik is supposedly about car enthusiasts, although they mainly spend most of their time bashing Elon Musk and Tesla. Ironically, they love EVs. They think EVs are great, but they bash Elon because of his cultural and political stances. And yet, this is how they describe one of the best platforms ever. The original Tundra came with a V8, as all trucks should have by default. And with manual transmission, they should. I don't think they actually had that for the Tundra. They do for the Tacoma. I partially digress. But listen to how they describe the old, great engine. The Toyota's ancient gas-guzzling 5.7-liter V8 was dropped in favor of a brand new twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6, which... That's why a lot of people moved away from Toyota, because people want V8s for their trucks, and you can get, many would argue, long-term reliability is better when you have a larger engine working less than a smaller engine that's working more in terms of having to have higher RPMs and against a twin turbo, and reliability in many ways goes down. Apparently there's a minor crankshaft issue or some issue with the V8 Tundra. Now, anecdotally speaking, all my friends who have their OG Tundras, they've never had any mechanical issues. They're damn near bulletproof. And yet, I also blame the government ineptitudes or their evilness of trying to take away good gas using vehicles for us. That's why a lot of them are moving away from iconic platforms like the V8 as to, one of the reasons why Toyota is moving towards these twin-turbo V6s. Now, they say, quote, with up to 409 horsepower, 389 horsepower in the Tundra, it makes more power and gets better gas mileage than the V8 it replaced. Great, but is it reliable? Yeah, not so much. Case in point. They say, quote, unfortunately, within a year or so of the new engine debuting in the Toyota Tundra and the Lexus LX, some owners began reporting problems. They all had one thing in common, engine failure. Which, yeah, that's the one part of the engine you're not supposed to have issues with. Most people could tolerate, the little radio button gets a little loose. That falls off, fine. It's an 18-cent part to replace. Or, maybe $1.50. The engine is the heart of the vehicle. Now, granted, it's still not as detrimental as having to replace a $30,000 electric car battery, but I partially digress. They say that, quote, in a release from the automaker, it mentions that during production, these machining debris may not have been removed from the engine. It affects vehicles. This can cause, quote, potential engine knocking, engine rough noise, engine no start, or loss of motive power. And that's terrible to say the least. Now, they say that because of this defect, Toyota is calling 102,000 Tundras and Lexus LXs. It should be noted that the hybrid version of the engine that's optional in the Tundra and standard with the Sequoia are not part of this particular recall. Which they also note that the Toyota says the official notice will go out to owners by the end of June, or just tune into this show since it seems like half the business blunders are automotive recalls. Again, it's also because it's one of the most complex, expensive things that people will buy with quite literally over 30,000 components, traditionally speaking, for an internal combustion engine. So there are many parts and components that can go wrong. Now, that being said, the fact they didn't actually do the machining right on this, they got so sloppy. And again, they're already having issues with people not wanting the V6. There are people moving away from the company. Because again, now Toyota doesn't have a V8 truck. So you got to go to something that's more traditional, like a Ford or a Chevy or maybe a Dodge. Now, Dodge is also not really hot water because they got rid of the V8 for their standard production of the 1500 series. So if you want the V8, you have to now buy the 2500 or 3500 series, which is also more profitable for the company because those are more expensive. They demand a higher price point. And yet, Toyota, you had one job: foolproof reliability. People are already skeptical about these engines because of all these other factors that I previously noted. And you also have these issues with assembly. So certainly not good. Again, the consumer perception for trucks is they're supposed to be a workhorse. Supposed to last, so the traditional V8 Tundra, I know people with 300,000 miles on the trucks and they still run like a champ. I mean, that's phenomenal engineering. That's great reliability. And yet, this, not only is this bad because obviously it's detrimental to the engine, but it's also sloppy manufacturing. So I gotta say, Toyota having a recall for one of your most iconic platforms that's already under scrutiny because of the decisions that you made. Fortunately, I gotta say that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your friends, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.